good. Let them whisper. Let them lean in when your name gets mentioned like it carries static in the air. Let them look at each other with that fake calm, that fake smile, that fake little nod people do when panic is crawling up their spine, but their ego won't let it show. Because that silence, that cold, weird, heavy silence, it did not appear out of nowhere. You earned that. Not by begging, not by fitting in, not by being safe. You earned it by becoming the one thing weak people never know how to deal with. A person they cannot control. That is what this is really about. Not hate, not drama, not misunderstanding. Control. You thought they blacklisted you because they were smarter than you, more powerful than you, more connected than you. Nah. They blacklisted you because they felt something crack the moment you stopped playing your assigned role. The second you stopped shrinking yourself to make mediocre people comfortable. The second you stopped asking for permission to breathe in rooms built to suffocate you. The whole game changed. And they felt it. See, people love you when your light is decorative, when it helps their image, when it makes their room look warmer, when it makes them feel like they're surrounded by talent, by energy, by potential. But the moment your light starts exposing people, exposing lies, exposing fake power, exposing the whole fragile little setup they built on manipulation and image management, suddenly you're too much. Suddenly you're dangerous. Suddenly you're hard to work with. Suddenly there are whispers, delays, cold shoulders, invitations that stop, messages that dry up, doors that used to open start acting like they were never unlocked in the first place. And that's when most people break. That's when most people start doubting themselves, start apologizing for having a pulse, start replaying every conversation, every text, every look, trying to figure out what they did wrong, start negotiating with people who were never confused in the first place. But not you, not anymore, because now you understand what that blacklist really is. It is not proof that you failed. It is proof that you interrupted somebody's comfort. It is proof that your existence started costing dishonest people sleep. It is proof that the version of you they could use, manage, label, and predict is dead, and dead things do not come back. That is why fear took over. Not because you got louder. Sometimes the most terrifying thing you ever did was go quiet. Real quiet. Not defeated quiet. Dangerous quiet. The kind of quiet that happens when a person stops explaining themselves, stops defending themselves, stops trying to be seen by blind people, stops knocking on doors that secretly enjoyed watching them wait outside. That quiet shook them, because people know the difference between someone who is silent because they are broken and someone who is silent because they are building. One feels sad. The other feels like standing too close to a locked room full of fire. You became that locked room. And let's talk about what really scares them. It is not your anger. People can handle anger. Anger is loud. Anger is easy to point at, easy to label, easy to provoke. What scares them is your clarity. That cold, surgical clarity that shows up after betrayal, burns all the softness out of your confusion. That moment when you finally see the pattern, the setup, the fake support, the strategic compliments, the selective silence, the way they smiled in your face and audited your potential behind your back. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And once you stop being naive, everybody who benefited from your innocence starts panicking. Because innocence is profitable to the wrong people. Your self-doubt fed them. Your over-explaining fed them. Your need to be understood fed them. Your habit of giving one more chance, one more benefit of the doubt, one more late-night paragraph trying to save a connection that was built to drain you from the start. All of that fed them. Then one day, it stopped. That's the day your name turned into a threat. You want to know why the room went dead silent? Because people who rely on influence, image, hierarchy, and whispered alliances know exactly what happens when someone they tried to erase survives without their approval. That breaks the mythology, that ruins the illusion, that tells everybody watching that the gatekeepers are not gods. They're just scared people in expensive packaging, and nothing terrifies fake power more than a person who no longer worships it. You reached a place most people never reach. A place where rejection stopped sounding like a verdict and started sounding like redirection. A place where betrayal stopped looking personal and started looking predictable. A place where being excluded stopped humiliating you and started educating you. That shift right there, that's lethal. Because when you stop taking disrespect personally, you start studying it. You start reading rooms better. You start hearing what isn't said. You start noticing who only supports you when you're convenient, who disappears when you elevate, who gets weird when you stop needing them, who can clap for strangers but choke on your growth. That knowledge changes your walk. Now your eyes are different. Your energy is different. Even when you say nothing, people can feel that you're no longer available for emotional scams, social games, fake mentorship, borrowed validation, or low-budget loyalty. That is why fear took over. They were okay with your talent, as long as it came with self-doubt. They were okay with your ambition as long as it came with hesitation. They were okay with your voice as long as it shook. They were okay with your future as long as it stayed theoretical. But then something happened. Life hit you hard enough to knock the performance out of you. Pain cleaned you up. Disappointment taught you pattern recognition. Humiliation taught you detachment. Loneliness taught you self-respect. And now you don't move like a person trying to be chosen. You move like a person choosing. That changes everything. See, the world has a script for people like you. Stay gifted, but insecure. Stay useful, but grateful. Stay impressive, but dependent. Stay hungry, but never fed enough to love the table. Stay close, but never powerful enough to stop needing the invitation. That was the deal, and you broke it. You started feeding yourself, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. You started building discipline where you once had desperation. You started building standards where you once had tolerance. You started building strategy where you once had pure emotion. Now you are harder to bait, harder to read, harder to stop. And that is the part nobody says out loud. A lot of people do not fear failure. They fear independence. They fear what happens when someone they underestimated becomes self-sourced. When someone they mocked develops focus. When someone they excluded builds something with no applause, no cosign, no safety net, no audience clapping every 5 minutes to keep them going. That person is a problem. That person cannot be starved the old way. And you became that problem. Remember how they acted when you were available all the time. When your boundaries were soft, your heart was open, your standards were negotiable, your schedule was touchable, your peace was accessible, your energy was public property. They were comfortable then. They knew how to approach you. They knew what version of you they could extract from. But the new you make people nervous, because now access costs something. Now your time is guarded, your attention is selective, your trust is expensive, your silence means something, your absence means something, your refusal means something, your eye contact means something. Everything about you started carrying weight, and weak people can feel weight, even when they pretend not to. So yes, they blacklisted you. Good. Let that sink in. Good. Because some rooms deserve to lose access to you forever. Some people only know how to value what they can no longer reach. Some systems only reveal themselves when they decide to punish your non-compliance. Some circles are so rotten that getting rejected by them is the clearest sign you are still alive inside. You were never supposed to be digestible. You were never supposed to fit neatly into somebody else's little narrative. You were never supposed to become a polished pet for people with dead eyes and empty praise. You were supposed to become undeniable, not lovable by everybody, not safe for everybody, undeniable. And undeniable people always disturb the room before they dominate it. That is the season you are in, right now. The disturbing season, the misunderstood season, the season where your growth makes average people gossip because gossip is cheaper than discipline. The season where your absence creates more noise than your presence ever did. The season where people who ignored you start monitoring you. The season where your name keeps showing up in conversations you were never invited to. Pay attention to that. When people start discussing you in rooms you have never entered, it means your energy arrived before your body did. It means your impact traveled without permission. It means your becoming has started leaking through the walls. That is power, not popularity. Power. Popularity wants to be liked. Power changes the temperature, and you right now are changing the temperature. That is why they're unsettled, because they tried to turn your isolation into your ending. They thought if enough doors closed, you would collapse into self-erasure. They thought if enough people withdrew at once, you would confuse abandonment with truth. They thought the silence would make you beg. Instead, the silence introduced you to yourself. That's the part they never calculated. They never calculated what would happen if you actually used the pain. If you actually sat with the humiliation and learned from it, instead of drowning in it. If you took every moment you were overlooked, every time you were played with, every time they passed you over, every time they smiled while quietly trying to lower your ceiling, and turned it into fuel. Now you think sharper. Now you move smarter. Now you trust slower. Now you build deeper. Now your ambition is not cute. It's territorial, and people can feel that. You can walk into a room smiling and still make insecure people uncomfortable because they sense the steel under your calm. They sense that you are not here to be managed, not here to worship titles, not here to bow to politics, not here to participate in fake humility, just to protect fragile egos from the reality of what you carry. You carry presence now, not the desperate kind, not the loud kind, presence with teeth, the kind that makes people second-guess their own performance, the kind that forces masks to tighten, the kind that reminds pretenders their reign only works on people still asleep. You woke up. So now let them be afraid. Not because you need revenge. Revenge is still a form of attachment. You are past that. You do not need to chase people who tried to reduce you. You do not need to prove your value to anybody who needed your insecurity in order to feel superior. You do not need to stage some dramatic comeback speech for people who were committed to misunderstanding you from the beginning. Your response is far more terrifying than revenge. Your response is elevation. Your response is composure. Your response is building something so solid that the same people who tried to blacklist your name eventually hear it echoed through places they can't block, can't influence, can't poison, can't reach. That is how you win. Not by screaming, by becoming, not by reacting, by positioning, not by begging to re-enter old rooms, by outgrowing the architecture. That's what they feel coming. That's what made the room go cold, because fear is not just fear of what you are. Sometimes it is fear of what you are about to become. Fear of how expensive their disrespect is going to look in hindsight. Fear of the moment they realize they had a chance to stand beside something rare and instead chose pettiness, politics, and ego. Too bad. That invoice is coming due, and you are done shrinking the energy just to make the story less intense for the people who wronged you. No. Let the story be intense. Let it sound unreal. Let it sound like the kind of thing people whisper, because saying it too loud makes them confront their own cowardice. Because the truth is, you did not disappear when they blacklisted you. You multiplied in private. Every lonely night did something to you. Every disrespectful moment did something to you. Every fake friend, every delayed opportunity, every patronizing smile, every time they treated your potential like it was negotiable, every time they assumed you would stay dependent, every time they tried to lock you out and call it fate, every single one of those moments added pressure. And pressure is dangerous when it hits the right soul. It either crushes a person or creates force. Look at yourself. You are still here. Different, yes. Colder in the right places, yes. Less naive, absolutely. Harder to impress, definitely. But still here. Still rising, still thinking, still creating. Still carrying that thing inside you they could not bury, no matter how coordinated the silence became. That means something. That means the blacklist failed. It may have hurt. It may have slowed a few things down. It may have cost you people, comfort, and illusions you weren't ready to lose. But it did not kill the mission. It revealed the mission. Now you know this was never about joining their table. It was about building your own gravity, becoming so real, so disciplined, so focused, so emotionally rooted that your name no longer needs introduction. It arrives with a feeling, a tension, a memory, a warning, a possibility. That is what your life becomes when you stop chasing validation and start manufacturing value. And value is quiet at first. Then it becomes impossible to ignore. So let them sit in that silence. Let them remember the moment they thought cutting you off would cut your future off too. Let them replay the arrogance. Let them replay the underestimation. Let them replay all the little ways they tried to frame your resistance as arrogance, your self-respect as attitude, your distance as bitterness, your standards as ego. People always mislabel what they cannot manipulate. Remember that. They called you difficult because obedience was easier for them. They called you intense because your honesty disrupted their little games. They called you intimidating because your self-possession made their performance look cheap. They called you unstable because they could not predict your next move anymore. None of that was truth. That was branding. That was damage control. That was weak people trying to write your story before you did. But look what happened. You kept writing anyway. Every day you refused to fall.